Praise the Lord. Welcome to DYD. I'm Evangelist Pamela Price. How you doing today? Listen, I'm happy you're here. We are in the book of what? Come on, somebody tell me. In the book of Judges. Yes, and we've been going through the stories, and I know some of you always, when you hear your preacher, your pastor preach, or someone, you're like, where did they get that story from? That's what I'm doing. I'm taking you over the stories. Yep. So last time we went over the story of who? Samson and Delilah. Yes, we went over that story. That story was juicy, wasn't it? Yes. So now we are going to another story that's really good, and it's called Micah's idolatry. Okay, that's a funny word, isn't it? Idolatry. Okay. Micah's idolatry. And we know what that is when you're worshiping a foreign god, right? Okay, let's get in. Let's do what we do best. Let's get in. So we're in chapter 17. Let's go. Now there was a man from the mountains of Ephraim whose name was Micah. And he said to his mother, the 1,100 shekels of silver that were taken from you and on which you put a curse, even saying it in my ears, here is the silver with me. I took it. And his mother said, may you be blessed by the Lord, my son. So when he had returned the 1,100 shekels of silver that he stole from his mom, right? To his mother, when he returned that money to his mother said, I had wholly dedicated the silver from my hand to the Lord for my son to make a carved image and a molded image. Now, therefore, I will return it to you. Now, let's talk about this real quick. Here, this guy has stole his mama's money. Yeah, I'm going to wrap it up real good for you. He has stole his mama's money, and she had put a curse on the person that stole it. And so he heard it. He's like, oh, Lord, I don't want no curse. And then he went back and said, Mama, here's your money. And then now she's telling them to listen, I really had saved that money for an idol to get made, for an image to get made. She thinks it's unto the Lord. Can now remember, in that day, those people were doing whatever they wanted to do. So in her mind, she's creating some image, a molten image, thinking it's God. Yeah, let's go back in. Verse 4. Thus he returned the silver to his mother. Then his mother took 200 shekels of silver and gave them to the silversmith. And he made it into a carved image and a molten image. And they were in the house of Micah. The man Micah had a shrine and made an ephod and household idols. And it says, and he consecrated one of his sons who became his priest. In those days, there was no king in Israel. Everyone did what was right in his own eyes. Remember, I just said that. Now, there was a young man from Bethlehem in Judea of the family of Judah. He was a Levite and was staying there. And it says here, the man departed from the city of Bethlehem in Judah to stay wherever he could find a place. Then he came to the mountain of Ephraim, to the house of Micah as he journeyed. And Micah said to him, where do you come from? So he said to him, I am a Levite from Bethlehem in Judah, and I am on my way to find a place to stay. Micah said to him, dwell with me and be a father and a priest to me, and I will give you 10 shekels of silver per year, a suit of clothes, and your sustenance. So the Levite went in. Then the Levite was content to dwell with the man, and the young man became like one of his sons to him. So Micah consecrated the Levite, and the young man became his priest and lived in the house of Micah. Then Micah said, now I know that the Lord will be good to me since I have a Levite as priest. Let's talk about it. Now, this story is developing, so I want you to stay with me. I hope you were able to follow. So this guy, they got their idols going on and they think this is pleasing to the Lord. Now see, this is what happens when we don't teach our children. They were told, now you teach the next generation and they think a image is okay in the sight of God. And now here's this guy in Judah from Bethlehem. He comes and they're like, okay, can you be a priest? And they just setting up anything. They just doing what they want. And he had agreed to it, and he became very close to their family, right? So let's get back in. Let's go in the 18th verse. Let's go. And this says, the title of this one says, the Danites adopt Micah's idolatry. Let's go in. Let's see. 18. In those days, there was no king in Israel. And in those days, the tribe of the Danites was seeking an inheritance for itself to dwell in. For until that day, their inheritance among the tribe of Israel had not fallen to them. So they hadn't got their inheritance yet, huh? So the children of Dan sent 5 men of their family from their territory, men of valor from Zorah and Ashtor, to spy out the land and search it. They said to them, go search the land. So they went to the mountains of Ephraim to the house of Micah and lodged there. How many men was it? 5 men, right? It says, while they were at the house of Micah, they recognized the voice of the young Levi. They turned aside and said to him, who brought you here? What are you doing in this place? What do you have here? He said to them, thus and so Micah did for me. He has hired me, and I have become his priest. So they said to him, please inquire of God that we may know whether the journey on which we go will be prosperous. And the priest said to them, go in peace. The presence of the Lord be with you on your way. Watch this. So the 5 men departed and went to Laish. They saw the people who were there, how they dwelt safely in the manner of the Sidonians or the Sidonians, right? And it says, quiet and secure. So when they went, they saw those people there, quiet and secure. There were no rulers in the land who might put them to shame for anything. They were far from the Sidonians, and they had no ties with anyone. Then the spies came back to their brethren at Zoran and Ashtar, and their brethren said to them, what is your report? So they said, arise, let us go up against them, for we have seen the land, and indeed it is very good. Would you do nothing? Do not hesitate to go and enter to possess the land. It says, when you go, you will come to a secure people and a large land, for God has given it into our hands, a place where there is no lack of anything that is on the earth. Let's talk about it. So these men, these five men, they saw the priest there, this guy that is staying at Micah's house, with the one he's being a priest with the idols. And then they're like, what you doing here? And they're like, yeah, he tells them, y'all go ahead and may the Lord be with you. They go over there and they come back and they tell their people, yes, this is a good land. And so he's telling them, now those 5 men telling his people, come on, let's go and attack. Let's do it. Let's take it. Let's go 11th verse. Here we go. And 600 men of the family of the Danites went from there, from Zorah and Ashtoreth, armed with weapons of war. Then they went up and encamped in Kirjath Jearim in Judah. Therefore they call that place Mahana Dan to this day. There it is west of Kirjath Jearim. And they passed from there to the mountains of Ephraim and came to the house of Micah. They're coming back by that house again, and Micah's in there. And it says that then the 5 men who had gone to spy out the country at Laish answered and said to their brethren, Do you know that they are in these houses an ephod, household idols, a carved image, and a molded image? Now, therefore, consider what you should do. So those five guys tell them, hey, right there in that house, they got an image and they got different things in there. So they turned aside there and they came to the house of the young Levite man, to the house of Micah, and greeted him. The 600 men armed with their weapons of war, who were of the children of Dan, stood by the entrance of the gate. There the 5 men who had gone to spy out the land went up, entered there. Watch this. They took the carved image, the ephod, the household idols, and the molded image. The priest stood at the entrance of the gate with the 600 men who were armed with weapons of war. Watch this. When these men went into Micah's house and took the carved image and the ephod and the household idols and the molded image, the priest said to them, "What are you doing?" And they said to him, "Be quiet. Put your hands over your mouth and come with us." What? Be a father and a priest to us. It is better for you to be a priest to the household of one man, or that you be the priest of a tribe and a family in Israel. So the priest's heart was glad. If you can imagine, he now about to be priest over 600 people. So the priest's heart was glad, and he took the ephod, the household idols, and the carved image, and took his place among the people. Watch this. Then they turned and departed and put the little ones, the livestock, and the goods in front of them. When they were a good ways from the house of Micah, the men who were in the house near Micah's house gathered together and overtook the children of Dan. And they called out to the children of Dan. So they turned around and said to Micah, "What ails you, that you have gathered such a company?" So he said, "You have taken away my gods that I made, and the priests, and you have gone away. Now what more do I have? How can you say to me, what ails you?" And the children of Dan said to him, "Do not let your voice be heard among us, lest angry men fall upon you, and you lose your life with the lives of your household." Then the children of Dan went their way, and when Micah saw that they were too strong for them, he turned and went back to his house. Let's talk about it real quick. So those men, when he let them in their house, those 5 men, they saw all those idols. So when those guys went back to their people, and they had 600 men, they came back to that house, and they went in the house and took the idols, the ephod, and did blah, 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 and took what they want. And plus they took that so-called priest with them too. They took him, yeah. And so then they telling him, "Listen, wouldn't you rather be a priest over 600 than it would be more than 600, it would be that tribe." And he was like, "Yeah, I'll be your priest." They were doing whatever they wanted. Come on now, somebody. Let me finish this story. Verse 27, it says, "So they took the things Micah had made, and the priests who had belonged to him, and went to Laish, to the people, quiet and secure. And they struck them with the edge of the sword and burned the city with fire. There was no deliverer, because it was far from Sidon, and they had no ties with anyone. It was in the valley that belonged to Beth Rahab. So they rebuilt the city and dwelt there." Woo, they took it, didn't they? "And they called the name of the city Dan, after the name of Dan their father, who was born to Israel. However, the name of the city formerly was Laish. Then the children of Dan set up for themselves the carved image." What? They set up for themselves the carved image. "And Jonathan, the son of Gershom, the son of Manasseh, and his sons were priests to the tribe of Dan until the day of the captivity of the land. So they set up for themselves Micah's image, carved image, which he made all the times that the house of God was in Shiloh. Woo! Let's talk about it. Now, you all know better than that, right? If you all have followed me anytime, I've done a book on Leviticus. Wait a minute, Genesis, Exodus, Leviticus, Deuteronomy, Numbers. Yeah, I've done it. And if you know anything and you've been following me, you know which tribe was supposed to be the priest. Come on, somebody. Which tribe was it? Come on, let's see what you know. The tribe of Levi. Yes. These people are creating and doing whatever they want. God had already established an order. He had already put a priesthood. Aaron's lineage was supposed to be the high priest and the priest. And even that particular family, the Korah, I believe that Kohath, and that whole family, Kohat, something like that. All of them were supposed to be of the priest. They're supposed to take care of the temple and all that. He didn't call Judah. He didn't call him to be the priest. And he says here that in Manasseh and his sons were priests of the tribe of Dan. That ain't what God put in order. And this lets us know that sometimes we can do stuff and God hadn't even ordained it. It didn't even come from God, and we think it's good. And here they are. Now, if you didn't know the word, and if you didn't know the law, you would think they were good. Those people thought they were good. They thought they were good. And they're violating all kind of laws. And the sad thing about it is sometimes people want God to move for them, but it's like you're out of order. You're totally out of order. In this case, they're out of order. Let's move on. Now we shift to, now this story here you want to hear. Oh, Lord, this is the one with the Levite's concubine. And this one is good because this man is going to end up cutting his concubine in 12 pieces. Yes, you said that story's in there? I don't know if I should get started. Let me see. I may get started. I'll start a little bit. Let's see what happens. I got 2 minutes. Let's see. Verse 19, the Levite's concubine. And it came to pass in those days when there was no king in Israel that there was a certain Levite. And it says, stand in the remote mountains of Ephraim. He took for himself a concubine from Bethlehem in Judea. But his concubine played the harlot against him and went away from him to her father's house at Bethlehem in Judea and was there 4 whole months. So let's talk about it. I'm sure you know about a concubine. There's a slight difference between a concubine and a wife. And now, some concubines, the man would marry her, but she was low in status. Okay, because if you remember Jacob, he had 4 wives. He had married Rachel and Leah, Rachel, and then he actually married their 2 maids because they gave them to Jacob. And the Bible say, and he took them as wife, and then later on they call them a concubine. And basically what they were saying is that, listen, I'm going to be your covering. I'm going to protect and watch over you. And pay for you and be your husband, basically. But they were low in status. Now you see how they were the maid. They were the maids of Rachel and Leah in Jacob's case, right? And so that's why concubine. So in this case, we're going to be talking about a Levite who has a concubine. And I wonder if it's something too also, if they call them concubine in some cases when they wasn't a part of any of the children of Israel. Sometime maybe it's just lower in status that they would get that title of concubine, like that and all. So, but listen, I'm out of here. I'm going to have to come back and start explaining and get back into this story, but you don't want to miss this one, all right? I'll see you tomorrow. God bless you. Parents, thank you so much for allowing your child to watch DYD. It is my heart's desire that every child be ministered to. Parents, I'm going to need your monthly financial support in order for this ministry to continue daily. I just believe by faith that God will lay on your heart an amount that you can consistently give into this ministry. Trust me when I say that the daily investment of the Word of God into your child's life is priceless. I've done this for 21 years and I've seen the results. Will you partner with me? Go to the donation page, and from there, you will be a blessing to this ministry. Thank you so much, and may God bless you.